Hello, welcome back to Goodbye Lara, episode 5 now. And yeah, just loving the show so much. It's a real joy to watch on Sundays. Similar to the start of the season when we had a Kuku Nikki on Sundays. It just brings that sort of perfect Sunday vibe that you want from an anime. Last week we went to school, we've made some friends, and Lara's learned a lot about love actually in that previous episode. Different types of love failing, realizing that there might not be just this one true prince sort of love, different forms of love, and that's going to be the running theme throughout. I'm certain of here. It looks like today we're going to be getting a job, which will be really funny. The show's been surprisingly hilarious. I think Lara as a character is so incredibly endearing. There's something about her voice acting direction as well, and partners with her expressions and how she's animated and the character acting. It all just goes together really well to make such a fun, endearing character that it's just super silly, but you just can't help but love so much. It's because you know at some point she's gonna get her heart broken, or some sort of tragedy is gonna hit from now on. Obviously, we already had episode 1 and all that, but it's just great seeing that it's really gonna hit like a truck when it gets rougher for her. Mari's fantastic too. She complements Lara really well. I like how they've been interacting with each other very casually. Like it's just a real joy to watch how they complement each other and how they contrast each other. But yeah, let's get into episode 5. We're starting with the opening, and that feels weird to me. Just for me, I'm gonna be like, let's get into episode 5. I'm gonna press play, and then it's just gonna skip ahead beyond it. I feel like I rarely ever, when I'm watching these shows, the opening actually comes before anything when I'm reacting to them. Like, I guess the only time it may have happened was with Ave Mujica when they did but even then, I can't think of many times where I've edited a video and like I've had to press play and then skip it straight away. It just feels quite weird. But regardless, episode 5, let's go. Forgive me if I look a bit tired. I've been away this weekend. I've just come back today.
マリが学校行ってる間何もしてへんやないの。あんたが
What do you mean I've got to do something?
10万それやのに。
Yeah, that frame was so funny in the preview. Like, she's such a bum.
働きや、うちの掟や。
掟？そんなものあったの？
今できたんや。マリ、あんたもやで。
Ah, she's been dragged into
あ
it.
げて言うてたな。
エアポッツプロ。
今使うてんのは
新しいの欲しいね。
知りません。欲しかったら自分で稼いでき。
でも働くなんて私にでき
Yeah,
るかしら。
I don't know.
こともあるで。
That'll be something you'll be good at,
僕は
maybe.
働いてる時に妻と出会うたんや。
そうなの？じゃあ王子様とも出会える？
Maybe?
どうやろう。
やるわ。私働く。
Experience and education and employment and
大人まで書いとったな。
文字書くん初めてやって全部
Read
つ
the
きっき
company
りで
mission
朝まで
statement.
かか
I
っ
need to get
た。
back and read that.
ま、頑張るのは英語だや。せやけど、本番はここからやな。
大津まり
Fast food
高
restaurant?
校生です。
This would be meant Lara is no way
大家のプリンセス。部活優先なんで週1だけの感じで。
an onsen
働いたこと一度もないわ。時給は高ければ高いほどよくて。得意なこと聞きたい？人手の見分け方ってね。
It's not going well.
みんな私に働いてほしくないのかしら。
Yeah.
私は受か
The
ると
job
思って
market is
たの
rough,
に
Lara. Don't worry, don't blame yourself.
まだまだ次探しに行くで。仕事なんて5万とある。ララちゃんとマリにぴったりな仕事がどこかにあるはずや。
そういえば誠さんも仕事をしているの？
マリ、それ見せたって。
What does he do? Oh, he's a photographer, is he?
僕の仕事道具。
これが仕事。
Or a journalist?
そのボタンを押すだけの仕
Yeah,
事。
photographer.
嘘よ。そんな簡単な仕事があるの？
ララちゃんもやってみたらええ。これは簡単な。
Ah, a little like disposal.
ララちゃんはプロや
It's a real
ないから
brand, I'm pretty sure.
お金にならんけど、シャッターを押せば目の前の景色を写真に残せる。
Oh, that'll be good if we get just to see it throughout.
スマホみたいには消せへんけど。
Take all these photos and then we'll see them all at the end.
お城？確かあれケーキ屋よ。ケーキ。私ケーキ作ってみたいわ。それにこんな素敵なところなら王子様に出会えるかも。
へえ、二人でよ。
Yeah, take on two together, that's a lot.
元気やね。なんで応募してくれたん？
甘いものが大好きで応募しました。世界で一番頑張ります。
好きなだ
It's
け
really
じゃ
cute.
やめちゃう子多いねんな。他にバイト経験は？
面接に通ったことなくて、
どのくらい受けたん
20個くらい。
？20。そんだけ受けたら受かるやろ、普通。そんなんで世界で一番頑張る言われてもな。
Harry, say something.
そうだ、私は御社の企業理念に共感して私の長所はめげないこと。だから短所は頑固なことで、自分を例えるとスルメのような
It was going well and now it's not. It's gone off on a bit of a
私、ケー
tangent.
キのためなら死ねます。
君は？
私は死ねません。
Yeah, valid.
よし。
じゃあ今日からよろしくね。マリさんは私と一緒
How
に
did they
いるが
get this job?
ララさんはキッチンな。
はい。
Lara location, please don't let her cook. Just give her the dishes to do or something. I'm willing to die for it. Love that. That's great. That's so funny. That's great. Ah, what an idyllic sort of place. Very reminds me of
私もここでケーキを作るのね。
Karuhana.
ちょいちょいララちゃんはこっち
Yeah,
まずは
like I
洗い
said.
物からや
ケーキ作ら
No,
ないの？
not yet.
洗い物もケーキを作る大事
It
な
is,
工
that is
程
true.
や。
I've done the dishes before. I've worked in that same job.
頑張るわ。
It's just, yeah. How long until she's beaten down by the being employed? It gets to you.
まだまだ洗い物来るで
店長、
なんや？
そろそろケーキを作らせてほしいの。
洗い物も大事な仕事や言うたやろ。
でもこれとってもしんどいわ。
そうや、それが仕事や。仕事っちゅうのは拷問や。
ごめんな店長愛想ないやろ
拷問。
またいい感じに溜まってきたな頑張ろうなララちゃん
Murray seems to be doing alright.
私何やってるのかしら。
Yeah.
まったくだ。なすべき試練を忘れるな。どうだ王子は見つかりそうか。
Didn't seem like it.
よくわからないわ。
お客さんの中にいるかもしれんで。
Could be
知らん
could
け
be
ど。
that. Yeah, who knows?
おはようございます。
Back again.
今
Back
日
at it.
はめっちゃうまいです。
天才です。
店長、私も早く作ってみたいわ。店長ばかり楽しそうなんだもの。
あかんか？
私には仕事は拷問だって。
仕事は拷問やない。楽しいもんや。今日はな。
今日は？
手伝いたいんやったら手伝わせたる。
え、店長。
Oh, he's
ラ
gonna.
ラちゃん大
Yeah, gonna put her for a trial.
完成するまで付き合ってもらうで。
She has no idea what she
作
signed
る
up
のは
for.
桃のタルト。 よし、これ向いて。やっぱりこっち使うかな。
It's really funny how like unfit she is. I mean, we saw her running with Mario at the beginning as
クリ
well.
ームは配合が大事や。違うな。全然
Just
ちゃう。
incredible expressions and noises.
ララさんから入らんようにね。ララさん、スポンジの準備やってみようか。
ララさん
She's been here for like a week now.
ララさん
ララさん
I guess it's time that she'll be going about Mario as well, and Mario's at school.
喜んどる場合か。商品にせなな。
ララさん、じゃあ皮むきしよう。はい。
Now we've got to create loads of those.
お疲れ様。はい。お疲れ様です。またね
お疲れ様。
Oh,
助かってんで。ララさんがしっかり働いてくれてる。
sweet. That's going to be great seeing all these photos at the end, man.
私、何日働いたんだろう。
It was like a week, wasn't it?
早く本当の愛を見つけなきゃいけ
Like
ないの
that。ominous thing in the sky.
お姉ちゃん、
Hmm.
どうして会いに来てくれないの？
会いに行かないんですか？
Hmm.
ララ、私があなたを守るわ。
What's that? Like a barrier or something.
このまま仕事ばかりしていちゃダメだわ。早く終わらせないと。店長、今月私いくらもらえるの？
わからんけど、このペースやったら7万ぐらいちゃう？
7万。エマさんが言ってた10万にしたいの。
まずは目の前の仕事をしっかりやることや。一つずつ積み上げて大きい仕事ができるように
Yeah,
な
she's
った
very eager.
ら時給も上げたんで。
大きい仕事？
ララちゃん、オーブンはまだ早いわ。
お願い、大きな仕事がしたいの。あれ、見たことあるわ。
Oh god.
このボタンを押すんでしょ？
あかん。このボタン押し間違えたら全部台無しや。絶対触ったらあかん。
ねえ、あなたの仕事を教えてほしいの。
今はあかん。今度な。
ララさん、桃早く剥かないと。
Oh. Not quite what she expected.
このままじゃダ
I
メな
love
の
this
に。
track as well.
私、やっぱり。
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
なんで触ってもうたん？
ごめんなさい。
Oh.
止めなきゃいけないと思って。
ただのアラーム音やから。
店長に言ってきます。就業時間超えちゃうと思うんで。 私が何とかするわ。ケーキも作り直すし。
ララちゃん、俺にも責任あるから、いつも通りサポートしてくれたらそれでええ。
めんどくさいことを言いたないけどな。何焦ってるんや。
That's good of him to ask,
ララさん
like what's up?
私、エマさんに働けって言われて、ここだけが私を雇ってくれて、でもどうして働いてるのかわからなくなって。
Can certainly feel like that.
出会
Not
わな
because of
きゃい
that,
けないの
but
に。
time
やめ
does
たかったら
feel weird.
やめてええんやで。
毎日毎日何をやっているんだ。家族のことを忘れたわけじゃあるまいよ。
It's always going to be lurking in the back of her
明日
mind.
辞めるって言うから。
Oh,
失敗したから辞めるん。そうじゃないの。
it's lots of things.
おばあちゃんまた怒るで。あんた頑張ってたと思うけど。
What was he saying?
今日で最後。
I hope she stays. Like just a part-time thing. Interesting. She has the need to capture that. Gorgeous, gorgeous scenes. Oh,
おはよ
ララちゃん早っ。
う。おはようございます。
着替えんとキッチン入ったらあかん。ほこり持ち込んでまうで。
店長、
なんや。
私。皆さん、昨日は迷惑かけてごめんなさい。
いやー、ほんま大変やったで。あの後。
あんなんよくあるし大丈夫よ。一生もなんかもっとひどいミスする。
yeah. Everyone makes mistakes at some point in
そう
work.
そう、あんたクリームよく混ぜへんから。
はよ着替えてき。
そろそろ歓迎会。
Yeah. She sailed in now.
大つけはこれで十分。あとはあんたのもん。一生懸命働いたんやろ。
Actually, she said it was more than it actually was.
これだけあれば何だって買えてしまうわ。マリ、毎日ココア買ってあげる。無駄遣いすんな。
Wow. What a gorgeous track. I might have to cut it out. Hopefully not.
篠原さんって
Gosh,
店長のこと
really
手なのね。
evoking some strong emotions and a certain feeling of like melancholy.
それで
Like the camera, the lighting, the
店辞
train.
めるって言ってたけど。最近ね、思うことがあるの。私、多分ずっと前から、あなたたちのこと、人間たちのことを知りたかったんだわ。洗い物も皮むきも大変だけど、あなたたちを知れば知るほど新しい姿が見えて、そしてまたもっと知りたくなる。今はこの気持ちが私が探す本当の愛につながってるんだって、
Absolutely.
そう思うの。
A smile, yeah.
じゃあ店は辞めへんってこと？とりあえず今日はね。これください。はーい。マリ、いくつ食べるかな？
ララ、
リサ
Whoa. Yeah.
その橋
ずっと会いたかった。待っていたわ。あなたが蘇るのを。
どうしてまさか魔女の薬を
Yeah, what did that
醜
happen?
い姿であなたに会いたくはなかった。愛
Hmm.
するララ、
She doesn't
あなたは特別なプリンセス。
seem to like humans.
その光によって私たちを救うもの。なのにどうしてあなたはまた薬を飲んでしまったの？
私も家族を救いたいって思ってる。だからそのために私は人間と結ばれなくてはならない。
魔女がそう言ったの？いいララ、200年前あなたは知ったはず。人魚と人間が
Yeah, I had an idea
生
she
きるわけ
wasn't
ないの。絶対に。
keen on them at all.
でも明日は違うかもしれない。
That's such an
コーダを生かせ
optimistic
て正
outlook.
解だった。人魚と人間が愛し合うなんて許さない。
That same,
あなたには必要ない。
that harsh
あの家
lighting.
もあの娘も。
Oh god.
娘
Oh no. Oh, the lighting. Oh wow, that's gorgeous. The shading. Oh wow.
みんな
Thinking about those that she loves, that light shining like that. Yeah. Whoa.
動き
It's evoking the emotions in Lara. She's like, didn't realise. Whoa, it went for him? It's a bit at the end. Oh, she's so worried.
何
おー、ララちゃん、おかえり。
Oh.
私大バカ者で早とちりしたみたい。
No, you didn't. This is gone now, is it? Was it sunk into the sea or what? Oh wow. That was a really nice episode, and it really, really flew by. When I didn't realise it was coming, like, I kind of just clocked when we got to that final confrontation between Lara and Lisa. This is the end, like, it was building up to end the episode. Another very chill. This is the sort of stuff I was exactly wanting from the show after obviously the original setup in the first 3 episodes. We had the obviously the school last episode, job this episode, plus a scene or two relating to the wider plot and progressing that. This is exactly the sort of structure I wanted here with this show, so very pleased with this. Yeah. This frame here is so funny with just her feet up like that. She just looks like such a bum. Really funny. She's watching like sea videos and shark videos. That's so funny. Yeah, she's assimilating more of the human world, understandably. Lisa doesn't like that because, I mean, to go to school and get a job, that's like two very human things, I suppose, in terms of in a structure of life, education and employment. It's like that's two sections of your life, very important sections, and related to being human. There's no other sort of animal that has that sort of structure and rigidity. Rigidity is not a word. That rigid sort of. Obviously, there'd be things similar in other sort of species, but obviously us being so advanced, obviously, like, but Lara's really sort of assimilating with being human now, where at times even she was questioning, like, what am I doing? Like, I need to sort of save my family. I need to go back to save my family and possibly go back to the sea, and like all that sort of thing. Like that, it's getting to that point where she's at times forgetting her wider goal, I suppose, but it feels like a means to the end in this sort of context. It feels like she's gonna gain much more from the process rather than the end, and I wonder how we're gonna find a balance between her wanting to stay a human and stay with everyone else, or obviously possibly having to go back to the sea, or being forced back to the sea by whatever Grace might have planned. We don't really know for certain that she's going to be an antagonistic force, but it's looking that way, especially when you compare it to older iterations of The Little Mermaid with Ursula. It's likely, I'm not going to come to the conclusion that it is, but we don't have an antagonistic force unless Lisa is actually going to act as that, which would be interesting, because the way they sort of framed Kota there and set up that sort of scenario, showing like Kota's sharp anglerfish teeth, it was interesting how they framed that. I want to because I agree with the company mistakes, and I want to work hard and learn the basics of customer service. And just like the most endearing photo ever. No experience. It's just really funny. Never in my life. Like, it was a very cute little smile at the end of that. She's so endearing. Like, how it's hard. I understand as an employer, you got to have these certain standards, but like, look at her, man. Like, I hope she gets to take more photos. I hope we get another sort of disposable here to go through, and then to get forgot what there's a name for like processing photos, disposable photos like that. I can't remember what the name is though. Yeah, I hope that becomes a bit of a running theme for Lara, is capturing these moments and her understanding the importance of them and wanting to preserve them, because I'm sure in the back of her mind, she might have that feeling that this isn't permanent. So but it all just came together really nicely when we had that. It wasn't really an insert song, more like a vocal OST. And have that scene, it really invokes such incredible emotions and atmosphere and vibes. I know vibes is a very loose word, but it got me feeling just very melancholic, and I don't know, it's just, I think that, like I've mentioned before about how the visuals are obviously incredible, but it's the music and the music choices and the direction of the music that really complements them and really obviously finishes and creates the entire scene. Because it's funny, because a show like this with visuals like this doesn't need to have this incredible OST, as long as it's just a fine OST that does the job. But we've got an incredible work here from Yuma Yamaguchi. I think, is it Yamaguchi or Yumaguchi? I know it's Yuma first name, but And I like some of his older, his previous stuff. I have some just stuff from his own sort of albums and EPs in my playlist because he's just a great musician. But I haven't watched all that much of stuff that he's on in terms of actual media. Yeah, it wasn't going too well. Then she kind of got into it a bit, and then she made I'm a well-oiled creature like a squid or something. Like, okay. And then yeah, kind of went off the deep end there, and he's just like, "What about you?" She's just very earnestly be like, "Yeah, I'm not willing to die for this. Like, I ain't dying for this shit." Like, as most people are at a job. It's interesting because this whole thing is very there's certainly an idyllic aspect to it. Job hunting is a horrible process. At this age, there's a different sort of feeling to it because you're obviously almost likely not looking to work here permanently. It's just sort of part-time thing. There's that also just this getting that experience, doing this sort of thing for the first time. You feel very mature doing these sort of jobs at this age. When I was younger, I worked when I was 16, various places like a pub washing dishes like Lara here, a theme park, and then just like a corner shop. Like I've worked in various places before having the full-time role I'm in now. And there certainly is that initial feeling when you first get a job, when literally your first time getting a job, you feel very mature. Having that your own income, which typically is more disposable, it feels great. But there's also a point where it's like, this is exhausting. Like the concept of doing this every day for the rest of my life at a certain point in my life, like after obviously education, it can be quite draining. Especially nowadays when the job market feels really, really fucked, especially where I am in Britain. I don't know if it's the same wherever you guys are where you're watching, but I know in the UK it is terrible right now. I'm pretty sure it's the same in America. But it's different for these sort of roles, like part-time student sort of roles where they're not expected to stay on and they don't have to have this well of experience and previous employment and educating. Like, you don't need all of that at this stage. So it's okay to make this sort of feel a bit more idyllic, especially when you're working at this sort of place, this sort of cake place that seems local and independent. That sort of community vibe, the idea that you're contributing to people and family and the community, like on a micro level, working at a place like that feels good compared to when you're working for maybe a bigger organization that do not value you at all as an employee. You're just a number. But especially for someone like Lara, who is sort of taken in and really enamored by everything and anything, this sort of experience is really exciting to her. But quickly she realizes that it's not all that it's cut out to be, and it is really fun just watching her go through the motions of having a job at this age and realizing I can't just get paid more all of a sudden, or I can't do these certain things. There's other people that do them. I got to learn on it. It's like a very fundamental step in growing up is this sort of stuff and making these mistakes. But yeah, she got it didn't take her long, to be fair, to get for it to sort of overwhelm her. But that's just how she is, really. She is, in almost a literal sense, a very sheltered princess. It is interesting seeing her question this, especially in like with Grace there to kind of nudge her and be like, yeah, like, what are you doing? Like, go and find what you're supposed to be doing. She's just very eager. It's very sweet. Yeah, there's lots of great expressions, funny noises. It's really fun. I want to see her hours. That's a long shift, eight and a half, like over 8 hours there. Typical one there, 9 till 3. It's a shorter one. Only 3 hours there. A shorter one. So yeah, the hours are pretty reasonable, to be fair, for the most part. Assuming that out didn't, when it says 12:05, that doesn't mean in the morning, like, because that would be rough. But I doubt it. It would say 00 for midnight. It seems to be a 24-hour. Getting stuck in the lift was really funny. And I'm sure we're going to see these people again in one way or another, even if Lara does end up quitting or leaving. I hope she does sort of stay on a sort of part-time thing. It's not that she has anything else to do at the moment, to be fair. I know in her mind she absolutely does, but her princess or her prince is right there. Like, there's no more situation she actually needs to undergo here apart from learning the sort of different meanings of love and the different facets of love and those sort of different experiences. And she got this sort of experience today in a work environment, which again, like I said, is quite idyllic, but it's okay. It's not that big a deal. Like, yeah, I didn't obviously when I saw that they went to her house, I didn't get the impression that what was that pink? Was that either like a barrier or her leaving something there, or Grace sort of warning them off? I'm not too sure. Or maybe it was the light from the fish or in the sky or something like that. I'm not too sure. Yeah, after we saw this, I was like, oh god. But to be fair, when the push came to shove and it was like that was going off and there was no one there, I was like, maybe she might actually do something good here, because I mean, the right thing she should just do is be like, you guys, just someone need to do something here instead of doing it herself. But it's part and parcel of learning, and you're gonna make mistakes early on, and it's gonna be embarrassing, but it's all a learning process, and it's like Lara is able to, it's sort of embracing that and learning from it and just making sure not to make the same mistakes again, and actually take it on as a process rather than sort of let it get you down. But it's certainly absolutely can, especially at this age. Like, but even now, if I make a mistake at my job, I've been at my job for almost a year now, even obviously it's not that long, but I feel very experienced and I absolutely know what I'm doing. If I make a mistake, I can easily beat myself up over it, like, oh, why have I done that? Like, that's so silly of me, sort of thing. Yeah, and Mario's like, no, you're doing alright, like, I love this scene now. Yeah, it's from here onwards, her taking all these like photos. It was fantastic. Like, she's captioned some incredible images, by the way, here. Maybe she has a bit of a talent for this, possibly. She is a bit of a natural at it. And then she makes her sort of declaration, like, I'm sorry, and sort of the sort of, I'm gonna stay from now on sort of declaration. Yeah, we get this gorgeous, obviously, OST come in. And I get the impression that Lara here is eating too much of the meat and sort of not leaving a lot for anyone else. And the manager's like, "Oi, what are you doing?" Like, they're getting this sequence of her having a good time with these people who were strangers almost just over a week ago to her. And that sort of experience she's able to have while we're in the background processing these photos. This vibe of a late night train on the way home from work is incredible. Yeah, so all this stuff is tough, but that's not everything, you know? Yeah, and it cultivates that curiosity even more. That wonder in her. That's the great thing about Lara so far, is she is consistently endeared and fascinated by everything. That sort of light in her eyes, and that sort of naivety is the wrong word. It is just that wonder. It hasn't burnt out or died down at all. And I wonder just how much we'll touch upon possible, like, more negative, darker sides of humans that could affect Lara in certain ways. How much we're going to balance that with all this good that's happening. I'd be interested in how the show would treat that tonally, and how far they would go or could go with that. But it's really sweet just seeing all the photos, and then, yeah, when the OSC sort of dies down, you're like, okay, something's going to happen here, and we get this confrontation with Lisa. And Lisa's the complete opposite. She's got the human form like Lara does, but she just feels complete disdain towards them. And I wonder if we'll get into that, and that sort of almost deep-rooted hatred, whether something happened in the past, or whether it's to do with education, or to do with what they're taught and what they're told by their family and the other mermaids. I'm interested in if we will get into that or not, or whether that's just sort of how it is, which will be fine as well. But I'd love to learn more about Lisa and why she feels so strongly about this as well. And that's the thing, yeah, because we were just talking about how all that stuff was tough, but I'm still here, I'm still going, I still want to learn more. She had that possibly the toughest experience, one of the toughest experiences of her life, and she's still earnest and optimistic. Like, things could turn out differently tomorrow. That's such a simple but perfect line that sums up sort of Lara and her outlook on life, and because there absolutely is a naivety to that, but there's also just a really beautiful optimism there that I think a lot of people could do with more of that sort of thing. I think when I was younger, I didn't have an optimistic view on life at all. I had a very pessimistic one that shifted eventually into a more realistic outlook, which is now sort of gradually to where I am now, sort of become more positive and optimistic when I look forward to when I think about the future and what's going to happen in my life in a week's time, a month's time, a year's time, 5 years time. Like, and I just love that line from Lara to sort of sum up everything that she's learned in this episode and that she's learned in the series so far. Now she feels towards all of this and everything that's going on. Things could turn out differently tomorrow. Like, she's willing to give people a second chance. She's willing to try these things again. She's willing to experience all these new things and not let it completely get her down, you know? And it is beautiful. And it frustrates Lisa, because she can't see things that way because of things that may or may not have happened to her. We get the same cut of that we got, was it last episode or the episode before? I can't remember which one. And then the shading and the lighting just gets really strong. The line work gets a bit thicker as well. And then Lara makes the realization, and then it gets darker again, and really strong colours that really pop out. This is probably the most the show has looked like a 90s or 80s sort of anime here, especially when we cut back to Lisa. No, where is it? Yeah, here. Like, it's just striking, isn't it? The simple colour blocking with no sort of after effects, no sort of bloom or any light. Like, it all feels very natural and simplistic, but it certainly does the job. And we get this rather ominous sort of Kota. We see him smiling. We haven't seen him sort of any sort of expression or emotion so far, but he's like itching to hurt these people. It's interesting. But Lisa inadvertently provokes this thing that I can only assume Grace has sort of put into play here, has manifested, or even Lara's maybe manifested herself without realising. And Lisa's inadvertently caused Lara to sort of prompt that to protect her. It is interesting it just went crashed straight down onto her. The mouth opened. I mean, we saw that in episode, was it 1? When did we see that fish go down into the... I can't remember. It might be, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, the mouth opening is terrifying. It lands straight on Kota. Wow. Obviously he's alright, but still. And she's relieved, but now she thinks that she doesn't realise she's been protected by whatever that thing is now, so her guard is possibly down now. But she's also going to want to have another conversation with Lisa about this. It's a really sweet hug with the tears in her eyes. Interesting, cutting to Grace here. And then we cut back to that. It does seem like this is possibly something that Grace has control over. But yeah, great episode. Another really fantastic episode. I do my best to try and avoid the preview images, but for better or worse, Twitter is talking about it a lot, and which is I'm glad to see the show getting traction. So it does sort of go over my timeline, so I'll have somewhat of an idea of what we'll be covering in the episode based on the preview images they release. But yeah, another fantastic episode. The show just continues to impress in every avenue. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week for episode 6. Bye.